It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's just Tom and Tony. It's time for the T-Squared Podcast.
It's the T-Squared Podcast, brewed by Button Willow General Store. Hello, it's Tom, it's Tony. Tony, we're back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
I'm almost awake. Had a little caffeine.
Me too.
About ready to go. We got a great show lined up today. We've got Terry Coyle coming to visit with us today, and people out there like, who is Terry Coyle? We don't know either. We'll figure it out. But Terry's a super talented guy. He's got a great backstory, and that's been the kind of the premise of the podcast is backstories.
Yeah.
If you've tuned into the first two episodes, you know that. You know, we're getting to know a lot of people that you may not know the name, but man, they've got some fascinating stories.
They sure do. I met Terry, in 2000. Bought a house from me on the lake, and then they bought another house from me, and I just became real good friends, him and his wife. She passed away about 10 years ago, and me and Terry's, we're still like best buds, and plays in her band, and just a great guy.
He is a, man, I'll tell you what, he's a hoot. He's a great guy. He's a talented guy. But
and has done just about everything.
Yeah, he has, and you're going to find that out when we bring him in here in just a little bit, but we're very excited to have Terry Coyle with us today. Tony, it's been a lot going on. We dodged a tornado this week.
We did.
And, here in Smithville, Tennessee, for folks out there wondering where in the world we are, we don't know sometimes either. But
just east of Booger Swamp.
Yeah. So right above Bug Tussle. So, but it's been interesting week weather-wise. Of course, springtime you get that, but it's almost like Tornado Alley shifted a little bit in our direction, and kind of scary. Were you out and about?
I was out showing. I actually had a listing appointment in Sparta, was coming back through Sligo, and had golf ball size hail hit us, and had my assistant Danielle with me, and I told her, I said, I think it's just a tornado that's going over us.
Yeah.
And the time we got to town, sure enough, it was.
And we're thankful that no one was hurt. I think that maybe some minor injuries, no one was hurt. But, boy, when you see the couple of houses we saw.
Miss Polly's house, it just destroyed it. And that was a postcard house and barn, and I just sure hate that she's lost what she's lost.
Miss Polly Payne and her husband, and she had quite an intriguing story that WJLA Dwayne Page, our last guest, actually had a good story on that. But we certainly send our prayers out to all those affected who had damage in the tornado. And it was across Middle Tennessee. Now, that was Monday. We dealt with it in Smithville. And Wednesday comes along, and man, it got everybody terrified. 4 out of 5 risk of tornadoes and things, and people were on high alert all day. And we're thankful it got no worse here than it did, but a lot of people did deal with some damage.
Well, I heard there's a lot of flooding in downtown.
Yeah, there was.
I know that's where you live. I don't know if you had any damage or not.
Did not, but thankfully, kind of where I'm at in the middle of town, it's almost on a hill. It's not really a hill, but both ends of town are lower level, and they're both there's creeks on either side of town, so you couldn't go one way or another just about for all the flooding. And I know people on East Main Street had a lot. There was actually some horses out in the pasture that
I heard that,
that had some water out there. So and I slept through it all, which I love stormy weather because it makes me so sleepy. But it's just a lot of devastation, a lot of people affected by all that. And
did you say you love Stormy Daniels?
I don't.
No, weather. It was weather. My bad. I heard that wrong.
Certainly, our thoughts and prayers going out to everybody that's been affected this week. What else is going on in the world, Tony?
Gosh, I don't know if you got to see it or not, but on Discovery Channel, Smithville made a big debut on Are We There Yet? Had about between 10 and 12 million viewers.
Wow.
Which was killer. And it will replay on Discovery and Motor Trend.
Yeah.
But those folks were so nice when they came interviews. And they actually interviewed us. It was right before Halloween last year, but it just aired. So look it up. They actually have the episode on YouTube now as well.
Awesome.
So, but man, it just made Smithville look so cool.
Yeah. RV there yet, right?
Yeah.
All right. So tell us what some of the things that were featured during that segment. I've not had a chance to see it yet. Bad me, I know. But talk a little bit about that.
The show is they have an RV and they travel across country, visiting different state parks and just different areas and stuff. And they actually stayed in Rock Island. And while they were in Rock Island, they decided they want to hit a small town, and they contacted Suzanne Williams, our chamber director. Suzanne was out of town, so she asked me would I do the interview, and I was more than happy to, and ended up being real good friends with these folks. And they just went over to Cheryl's and Summer Store, the mail room, and just kind of walked around Smithville, and it was just a really good segment. But the cool part about the story is it's not really about RVing. It's more about the travel and the destination.
Right.
So even though the name is RV There Yet, it's a very interesting show for anybody that likes to travel and just see different things and parks and hiking and waterfalls, and that's just kind of what they feature.
Do they travel in an RV?
They do travel in an RV, yeah, so across country, yeah.
Okay. Do you notice more and more people and shows and things like that are starting to find Smithville, Rock Island, this kind of area?
Oh, yeah.
Is it becoming more of that?
Absolutely. I think it's the small town. I think everybody is yearning for the small town life again. Mm-hmm. You know, the world is so busy and so much going on that I think the small towns are making. And I mean, you can sit down here with all the businesses that have came in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That everybody's wanting the small town feel again. And I tell everybody, I said we're just like Mayberry, except for everybody's Otis. That's the difference.
I always like to point this out. Otis was the only one married. Okay, you can put 2 and 2 together, but okay, I shouldn't have gone there. But do you, in the real estate realm, deal with, I guess, more people coming in than you do actual local people now?
Absolutely, yeah. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, stuff like that. A lot of local folks,
Mm-hmm.
Go in the stores and stuff that I see. Buttonwillow is the exception to that rule. They have just a lot of what's the word that go there every day.
Yeah, regulars.
Regulars, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, they have a lot of regulars that go there every day. But the stores are the holidays and stuff like that. Now we do have a core group of people that always shops with us.
Sure.
But the majority, and I would say if I was going to put a percentage on it, 80% are tourists that come in our store and shop downtown and stuff. It's really neat seeing everybody. And I just like walking around and seeing all the different counties on the cars and stuff, and the people that are coming in here, and they love it. Everybody loves it. The folks I met yesterday were from East Memphis.
Wow.
First time they've been here, they wanted to look at the lake, showed them property and stuff. They ended up hanging out downtown half a day. They just absolutely loved it. Yeah.
If I was in Memphis, I'd be wanting to come to Smithville. I saw a statistic the other day. I think Memphis now has more, I don't know if it's violent crime, something like 1 out of every 40 or 43 people now will be affected by some kind of crime in Memphis. And that's right in our own state. And that leads the nation now. Yeah. And you talk about the yearning for a smaller town, a simpler lifestyle. There are a lot of people trying to get away from that, I think.
That's exactly what these folks were doing. They were just getting away from the craziness that's happening in these big cities.
So something else I wanted to mention, a lot of interesting places, of course, that we talk about. Honky Tonk National Golf Course. It was formerly Riverwatch Golf Course, and I get tang-tungled trying to say that whole thing together, but you went out there, and I know I saw this on Facebook. You had some good food and had some experience out there.
So they kind of had an open house for the residents in there, and then a few other people. Mm-hmm. I guess I got invited because I do sell a lot of property out there, and I'm also a county commissioner, so they invited some of the officials and stuff, and had the ribbon cutting for the restaurant. They got a brand new restaurant. And everything was free, which was so cool. So we got to eat like crazy. But the Summer had sushi, which was Nashville hot sushi.
Oh, wow.
Set her on fire. It was awesome. I had the shrimp tacos, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But their food is just outstanding.
Wow.
Yeah, we're just excited to have those folks in DeKalb County. And the golf course is, it's one of the only golf courses around here that is a totally sodded golf course. So everywhere the ball lands, I don't think you're a golfer, but I am a golfer. And so no matter where you hit the ball at it, you're going to have a good lie.
Yeah.
I could see a tour. I don't know if it'd be the Korn Ferry Tour or an actual PGA Tour or a Live Tour. I could see a tour coming here and playing.
Wouldn't that be fascinating?
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
And I think it's something that he's got, hopefully, in the big scheme of his planning that he's got, is have a tour there.
You mentioned Steve Smith is who we're talking about, and Steve's a well-known businessman throughout Middle Tennessee. He's got plenty of properties downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
Tootsie's, Rippy's among those, and
Pates Ford, Sligo, Riverwatch. And he told me one time that he really thought that Smithville, DeKalb County is the next Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area.
That's amazing.
And so he's spent a bunch of money here. And so when somebody that's got the kind of money that he has and investing here, sometimes you just got to shut up and listen because he knows something that I don't know.
Yes, he does. And he's very well connected. So good to see some of the things that he's brought into this area. And it just makes it, I think, even more enticing for the people that you're meeting along the way, coming here and they're like, wow, they're kind of getting in on the ground floor of all this great progress going on.
We're definitely a tourist destination, even though some of the locals still don't like that idea.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
The T-Squared podcast served up by Buttonwillow General Store. I want to talk about your band, First Friday, and I know we're going to talk to Terry some too, but First Friday last week celebrated 3 years of the mailroom, your business, located next door to your real estate office downtown Smithville. I know the weather didn't cooperate, so you guys...
We had to play in a shelled-out building, and we were super loud, and I'm apologizing to anybody that came and their ears are still ringing, but we had a blast.
Tony sounded great, I think.
I looked great. I looked great.
You looked great. You did. You had the part down, man. The band is phenomenal, and I enjoyed it. Of course, it was loud, and but you couldn't much do anything about it with the hollowed-out building there.
Yeah. And the first guitar sound check, we sounded really great. I thought it was going to be perfect. The first guitar solo, I'm pretty sure if there was a 20 on the amp, he did hit it, which causes the other guitar player, Lucas, to crank it up, which causes Tommy, the bass player, to crank it up. Well, I play harmonica. There's not much cranking up.
Not much cranking up on
if I blow harder, I don't get louder. So I do get lost in the mix sometimes. But, man, those guys are phenomenal guitar players. I'm not going to fuss. Let them do their thing.
Lucas with all that hair, too. Even when you can't hear him, it's just fun to watch him because that hair is just, going every direction. Terry Coyle, our guest, is coming up next. And like you mentioned, Terry's somebody you've known about 25 years now. He's been in the music business, done some TV, worked on some movies.
Yeah.
He said he makes a mean-baked Alaska.
So
this guy's done a little bit of everything. What do you feel like maybe the most fascinating thing you've learned about Terry over these years?
Really, you ask him a question, and he's probably got a pretty legitimate answer because he's seen it or done it, or seen somebody do it, or seen somebody's done it.
Yeah.
He's just a super interesting guy. He really is. Not selfish at all. The best story I got about Terry is his wife got ALS, and he pretty much shut down his whole life and took care of her for 3 or 4 years before she passed away. And I kind of lost contact with Terry and Carolyn for a little while, and I didn't even know that she had passed away. And I ran into him at Kilgore's, and he just was. You could just tell he was really depressed, and he was telling me the story and stuff. And so my daughter, Mercedes, who is a singer, I said, hey, we're thinking about doing some gigs with her. Would you be interested? And I could just really see him open up and be happy again. And he's been cranked up ever since. And he's just, I'm just thrilled to see him back, life in his eyes again, for sure.
That's fantastic. We're going to talk to Terry when we come back. We've got plenty of show left, so folks, stick around. The T-Squared podcast served up by Buttonwillow General Store on the Slackerbilly Podcast Network.
Buttonwillow General Store, located in historic downtown Smithville. The best coffee in Middle Tennessee. Go by and see Joe, Angela, and their outstanding staff. Order up one of their amazing drinks and check out the General Store while you wait. Lots of unique and locally made products to choose from. Buttonwillow General Store. Be sure and tell them you heard all about them on the T-Squared podcast.
Hey folks, Tom Duggan from the T-Squared podcast here to tell you about two of my absolute favorite places to eat. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue in Smithville and On the River Grill in Rock Island. Stop by the Pig at 320 West Broad Street, Smithville for the best barbecue you'll find in this area. My buddy Jeff has everything from pulled pork to barbecue nachos and my personal favorite, their amazing loaded barbecue bacon baked potato. Don't forget their tender, juicy, fall-off-the-bone ribs that will have you calling in for seconds before you even finish the first rack. And if you're looking to eat a little healthier, they've got one of the best salad bars you'll find around. If you love the water and good food, you have to check out On the River Grill at Cotton's Marina in Rock Island. Try one of their delicious hand-patted real beef burgers, including everyone's favorite, the Bourbon Bacon Cheeseburger. They also have shrimp, cucumber boats, and plenty of other items, plus beer and plenty of soft drinks. You can even bring your own bottle of wine. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue and On the River Grill, two of my favorites, and they'll be yours too once you try them. Stop by and tell them Tom from the T-Squared Podcast sent you.
Everyone has heard of a boutique, but how about a brotique? The Mailroom Brotique, 102 West Main Street in downtown Smithville, is your go-to shop for all things masculine. The Mailroom prides themselves in offering high-quality and unique apparel, grooming products, and gifts. They also offer custom designs that are unique and cannot be found anywhere else. But what about the ladies? The Mailroom is excited to now offer women's apparel and gifts in addition to their full line of men's products. Visit the Mailroom in historic downtown Smithville or online at themailroomtn.com. We appreciate you shopping local.
Are you ready to supercharge your nutrition and energize your day? Visit Mad Nutrition at 417 East Broad Street in Smithville, your go-to destination for premium protein shakes, protein-packed snacks, and energy teas with essential vitamins. Whether you're powering through a workout or just need a pick-me-up, Mad has got you covered. Swing by Mad Nutrition today and taste the difference quality nutrition can make. Fuel your body, fuel your life. Mad Nutrition, your recipe for success. Call in your order ahead of time or send via text message at 615-684-8586. That's 615-684-8586. Mad Nutrition. The T-Squared Podcast served up by Button Willow General Store. Tom, Tony, and, we got a third T. We can be T-cubed today. Terry Coyle is our special guest, and Terry, good to have you with us.
Well, thank you there, Tom. Good to be here.
I love his voice.
Well, between you two, I sound like a 12-year-old boy.
Well, at least you don't sound like a 12-year-old girl.
That's true.
No mistake who Tony is during that.
Now, Terry is a self-proclaimed jack of all trades. He's done a lot of things over the years, been very involved in music, and in fact is drummer, Tony, in your band, Dramatic Endings.
Yeah.
And
glad to have him, too.
A big-time story with this guy. And Terry, we're going to get to that backstory. And
all right.
You sort of made your way to Nashville, I know, several years ago. And
yes.
What was it that brought you to Nashville? And just kind of how did everything get started for you?
There were some guys. I'm from Arkansas, and there were some boys that I'd played with off and on over there for years. And they had moved to Nashville in '73, started a super weird band called Wakefield. Mm-hmm. And they called me and wanted to know if I wanted to come over at the spring of 1974. And I said, well, okay, yeah, I'm blowing insulation right now, so I think I'd rather go to Nashville and become a rich and famous drummer. So that's what I did, but except for that last part. Just forget I said that. But they were a lot of fun. We were all original music, and it was pretty cool, and I was in that band for quite a while. And it was a fun gig, but everything changes. Mm-hmm. And of course, once that kind of died out, and I got tired of eating, tuna fish helper, then I got a real job, and started, having to support myself like a regular person, and would play music whenever I could on the side. I mean, whether that was with live bands or actually I was doing a lot of studio work, spot work they called it back then. With various friends of mine that were writers, and you'd always, it's like, we've got a free time, we can go in the studio, and I'm going, okay, let me guess, it's 12 at night, yes, show up at midnight, and we got to get out of there by about 7:30, they'll kick us out if we don't get out of there, but a lot of stuff like that.
Your original band that you played with in Nashville, what was some of the music you did? And I believe we were talking before we went on the air about you had an opportunity maybe at a record deal somewhere along the way there.
Yeah, they actually, we were, like I said, very weird. I mean, I'm talking, okay.
It must have been weird.
It sounds like it might be weird.
You got to think of like Genesis, Tull, King Crimson. All we did was original music. Our shortest song was 8.5 minutes long.
Shortest song.
Our shortest song. It was a concept piece. It was 45 minutes, Tom. And it started and it never ended until that last note was hit.
Wow.
So we actually had some producers from L.A. Bell Records came and listened to us once, and they sat there and, I think we blew their earballs out, whatever you call them. But, after we played our concept piece, they said, well, you guys are good. They said, I think we would like to hire you, which, we were amazed at that.
Right.
But he said, do you have a song you can cut down to 3.5 minutes, which was, the 45s were the promo deals at the time. I'm talking 1974 here, y'all.
Yeah.
So the guys had a little brief meeting and came back to him and said, no, we can't cut down any of our songs. They didn't want to, they're ideals, and these are our concept pieces, and no, we will not rape any of our songs.
Not for the glitz and glory of a record deal.
Not
right?
for a record deal. I mean, they were talking even, they were going to have a promo for us to go to Memphis. We were going to play with the Memphis Philharmonic Orchestra. They were going to learn our 45-minute concept piece, and we were going to go there and sit, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And sit in the middle of this. I mean, we really wasn't done back then. I mean, now it is,
Sure.
it started being. But no, we don't want the record deal. Get the hell out of here, So it did not work out. But, but that's when I continued on with my career.
We'll come back to that moving on, but let's go back even further. And, you came in as a drummer. Was that where you got started, was playing drums? And what got you interested in music to start with?
Well, I was one, and no, I'm just kidding. And I started playing the hell out of the drums. No. Actually, my mother wanted me to take piano lessons. We had a piano, old upright piano in our house. My dad used to play with a lot of boogie-woogie musicians, and we had an old black man that used to come over every once in a while and play our piano, like on a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Just play the tar out of that thing,
Wow.
And he just got his eyes closed, and I thought, dang, this is pretty hip here. But, it's stuff like that just really, really, got me going, got my juices going. I said, I think I want to do this,
Yeah.
Anyway.
But piano didn't work out.
Yes, thank you. I forgot where I was there for a second time. Let me get another sip of coffee.
You're all right, Taylor.
Actually, piano, I mean, I never learned really what was going on. I just, my fingers were numbered, and that's all I knew. So I kind of stopped doing that at 10. Which at that point in my school, you had to decide if you were a man, you had to go either band, football, or, sports, or home ec. Well, home ec, no. It was like sew things, and cook food, So, no, I went ahead and went into the band, and that's when I started playing the drums at about 10. And my dad was an old musician, like I said, and he actually had some friends still around. Really old guys, like in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And so,
almost our age.
Yeah, I know. So he would take me around. I actually started playing nightclubs. It's vague. I was like around 13, maybe, when he would drive me around, and I would play with his friends and play these old dives, VFWs and all that stuff. And that's kind of where I started, my practical drumming experience, where a guy said, "You're playing too loud. Stop hitting that snare drum. Put a billfold on that snare drum. Why don't you just put a blanket over everything?" But
were there any drummers that kind of influenced you that you enjoyed listening to?
Oh, yes. Of course, like I'm older now, folks. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But I mean, it goes way back. Gene Krupa, way back in the 20s, 30s, 40s. Buddy Rich then came along, kind of took the mantelpiece from him and became the main guy. A lot of Elvin Bishop, a lot of black drummers that used to play with people like Duke Ellington and stuff like that. Obscure drummer in the 50s and 60s, real good, called Shelly Manne. He was killer. He was jazz, But, of course, then the Beatles,
right,
came into existence, and I was like, holy moly,
Yeah.
So really, Ringo was a huge influence. But when I got to that point and I had to choose, I mean, it was really strange because I was a really good sports guy. I mean, I was the best end. I mean, I could outrun anybody. I could catch footballs with 2 fingers and all that stuff. So I just had to stop that.
Wow.
Literally, this doctor said, you need to stop playing sports. Your knees are horrible.
Yeah.
And I actually had a bone disease that Mickey Mantle had called Osgood Slaughters. It's in your knees. Of course, my knees are, you can attest to that. They're really horrible still, But that really, kind of made me think,
Yeah.
But I just went on with it and kept going, and kept playing.
We're with Terry Coyle on the T Squared podcast, served up by Buttonwillow General Store. Terry, you talked about doing some session work in Nashville after your experiment with the band, I guess, didn't work out, but I want to compare and contrast, I guess, studio drumming with live. I know there's a big difference there. And was there an adjustment for you there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, is really, of course, it's sort of a thing you evolve as the more studio gigs you do, you learn what they want and what they're going for. And it's so funny, I guess it's still this way, but the studios would actually have a set of drums usually. They're set up, don't mess with them, don't touch them. And then the engineers knew what sounded best and stuff, and say, like, you're playing a cymbal too loud, or don't go to that cymbal there.
Sure.
Or, let's put that billfold or whatever on this tom-tom because it's making too much noise. Mm-hmm. But the first actual studio experience I had a lot in Nashville. But the first was in Dallas, and I was a teenager before I moved to Nashville, and I went with these yahoos that I was playing with down there. And, I mean, this engineer hated me. I mean, it was the worst experience of my life. He was a drummer, and he thought he knew everything, and, of course, I wasn't that good then. I was way back, I mean, it was okay, but, I mean, I was scared buttless, when I got in there. And, it got down to the point that he came out there and he said, play this, boom, pop, boom, pop. I'm going, oh, my God, But we recorded, we got through that song, we went across the street, we all got drunk on peppermint schnapps, we came back, and then it went great after that.
Everything's better with peppermint schnapps.
Oh, yes. First and last time I've ever drank that, by the way, Tom. Don't get that for a birthday present for me.
Nashville, I know, can be a brutal town, and going back even to the 70s, and I know the music landscape is so much different now, but did you find it difficult to kind of keep work going, and were you forced to maybe look outside the music realm?
Yes, of course. I mean, the basic thing that helped me was, I always say this about myself, I fell into waiting. Mm-hmm. I sort of had some buddies or something, and they said, hey, there's this new place opening up downtown that we all think we can get work at. It's called the Hyatt. Mm-hmm. And we were all working at, like, the Golden Ox, which was out west end across from where St. Thomas is now. But it was this killer steakhouse.
Wow.
So a bunch of us had started there, and we were all going to the Hyatt for work, and that's kind of what I did. And that really gave me the money and the work that I needed to support my filthy habit of being a drummer and a musician. Which, don't go there, kids. Stay in school. Don't play the drums. But, that really helped. I even eventually became a banquet manager at the Hyatt and the Hermitage Hotel, another hotel that reopened downtown. Mm-hmm. And that's, what really kept me being able to play on the side. Yeah. With live bands, and or when I would occasionally get those oddball secret studio gigs, that we weren't paying for, Don't tell anybody still, okay? I don't want to get in trouble here. But it was neat. I mean, it was really growing up. I mean, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee.
You almost found, from what you've told us, you almost found somewhat of a career in that, and it
I did. Yeah. I mean, I was in that for over 12 years, and that's I met my wife that I was with for 30 years. Lost her 10 years ago, but that's where we met. So I used to think, I think this is why I was supposed to do this. So I met this wonderful woman that I could live 30 years with. But, I mean, it was my bread and butter, besides occasionally going, hello, Mother, Daddy, I need $300 more.
I'm sure they were happy. Good thing caller ID didn't exist then. They may not have answered the phone, So, Terry, in addition to music and getting into waiting and stuff like that, you found a little success in TV, from what I understand as well.
It was I actually finished college. I had done 2 years at a stint at Arkansas Tech. And that's about when the guys called me to come over to Nashville. So actually, at one point, I went back to MTSU and finished down there, and I mastered in mass comm. So when I got out, I parlayed that into really TV, video, and movie work in Nashville. I did all three of those, which they're distinctly different businesses. Believe me, they're nothing the same, you know. Yeah. But TNN was really fun to work at there. I was on cooking shows. I worked with, so many stars there. I don't know. I worked with like Louise Mandrell, which I don't know if any of you know the Mandrell sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Louise is different. Anyway, we love you. We love you, Louise. Don't get me wrong.
But, anyway.
But no, that was interesting, and a lot of movie shoots. I've been on big movies, The Jungle Book that shot in Cookeville in about 6 different locations in the world, actually. So, I did a lot of exciting work like that. Held a phone, laying down on my back for a production in Franklin one day for Lori Morgan to use, and I'm laying behind a couch holding a phone up like my arm is a table. And she came over and stood right next to me and made the phone call. And I think I've told you the rest of the story, but I can't go there here. It's not appropriate for certain ages. But let's just say that she wasn't wearing all the clothing that some people normally wear under their outer clothing. But, anyway, it made for an exciting shoot. And once again, Lori, love you. I'm making all these big stars mad at me now.
Of course, they're going to be listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know they will be.
You know, Tony and I are definitely going to skyrocket to the top of the podcast world. But doing the TV and the movie, doing some of that, did it make you miss music, or did it kind of fill that void somewhat for you?
Well, that's interesting you should say that, because I've thought about that a lot. And, I always missed playing. Mm-hmm. I always missed playing. And it definitely did. I guess if it was a little artistic thing or whatever, that it was filling that niche, that that I was missing. But I mean, it's always been, and there has been periods of time that I couldn't play at all.
Yeah.
For reasons beyond my control, But it's always there. It was always something bubbling up in the background, if nothing else. And now that I'm older and I can spend more time doing it, it's great. It really is.
Terry Coyle's our guest on the T-Squared podcast, served up by Button Willow. We come back, we're gonna name drop a little, because I know people out there, who all's this guy played with? They want to know, and I want to know too. So we're going to get into that. You're listening to the T-Squared podcast.
Button Willow General Store, located in historic downtown Smithville. The best coffee in Middle Tennessee. Go by and see Joe, Angela, and their outstanding staff. Order up one of their amazing drinks, and check out the general store while you wait. Lots of unique and locally made products to choose from. Button Willow General Store. Be sure and tell them you heard all about them on the T-Squared podcast.
Hey folks, Tom Duggan from the T-Squared podcast, here to tell you about two of my absolute favorite places to eat. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue in Smithville and On the River Grill in Rock Island. Stop by the Pig at 320 West Broad Street, Smithville, for the best barbecue you'll find in this area. My buddy Jeff has everything from pulled pork to barbecue nachos, and my personal favorite, their amazing loaded barbecue baked potato. Don't forget their tender, juicy, fall-off-the-bone ribs that will have you calling in for seconds before you even finish the first rack. And if you're looking to eat a little healthier, they've got one of the best salad bars you'll find around. If you love the water and good food, you have to check out On the River Grill at Cotton's Marina in Rock Island. Try one of their delicious hand-patted real beef burgers, including everyone's favorite, the Bourbon Bacon Cheeseburger. They also have shrimp, cucumber boats, and plenty of other items, plus beer and plenty of soft drinks. You can even bring your own bottle of wine. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue and On the River Grill, two of my favorites, and they'll be yours too once you try them. Stop by and tell them Tom from the T-Squared podcast sent you.
Everyone has heard of a boutique, but how about a brotique? The Mailroom Boutique, 102 West Main Street in downtown Smithville, is your go-to shop for all things masculine. The Mailroom prides themselves in offering high-quality and unique apparel, grooming products, and gifts. They also offer custom designs that are unique and cannot be found anywhere else. But what about the ladies? The Mailroom is excited to now offer women's apparel and gifts in addition to their full line of men's products. Visit the Mailroom in historic downtown Smithville or online at themailroomtn.com. We appreciate you shopping local.
Are you ready to supercharge your nutrition and energize your day? Visit Mad Nutrition at 417 East Broad Street in Smithville, your go-to destination for premium protein shakes, protein-packed snacks, and energy teas with essential vitamins. Whether you're powering through a workout or just need a pick-me-up, Mad has got you covered. Swing by Mad Nutrition today and taste the difference quality nutrition can make. Fuel your body, fuel your life. Mad Nutrition, your recipe for success. Call in your order ahead of time or send via text message at 615-684-8586. That's 615-684-8586. Mad Nutrition. Back on the T-Squared podcast, brewed up by Button Willow General Store. Tom Tony, Terry Coyle, our special guest today. We have talked Terry's another one. Everybody we've talked to, we're going to have back because their stories are so in depth. We can't get to everything, but
so different. It amazes me how everybody's life is so different, but that's what makes the world so interesting to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Terry's everything I wanted to be when I grew up, but maybe I'll grow up one of these. Not necessarily a drummer. I can't play anything. Anyway, but Terry, you've name dropped a little, and like I said, I know people are screaming out there wanting to know who else this guy work with, and you've shared some names with us. Maybe one personality that really stands out that you really did love to work with.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt it would be Patty Loveless. Mm-hmm. She came back to Nashville. She was actually, of course, she's Loretta Lynn's like second cousin or something. But when she was 13 or so, she had come to Nashville and was on the Wilburn Brothers show. Y'all may remember the Wilburn Brothers show. I do. It was an old Saturday afternoon when they had all those shows, and she actually came and played with them once, and she was real good. Went back to Kentucky. She's like Pikeville, Kentucky or something. But she came back to Nashville in the mid-'80s, and she kind of got to be close friends with this guitarist that I was playing with in a band. And he said, hey, I know this chick, and she's wanting to get a record deal. And she's wondering if we would help her for a couple of months. She's got a few originals. She wants to do some more and make a demo tape, which at the time was a cassette tape. And that's how she made her deal, folks.
Boys and girls.
Cassette tape.
Yeah, boys and girls, Google cassette tape.
Yeah, exactly. But she showed up at my wife and I's house one night with the band, came over, and we met her, and we thought she's nice. She's very quiet. Very nice girl, sang great, and we started working with her. We worked with her for 2 months practicing, and then we went in about, it's been a while now, folks, but I think it was about 3 or 4 nights in a row in studios in Nashville, and it was, most of us in the group at the time had regular jobs, and we just did that on the weekends, played gigs. So she got all of us, and we fitted in. Of course, the next day at work, we didn't know where we were because we've been playing music all night, But we laid down about, I think about 6 or 8 tracks, different songs for her to get her record deal. And after all of that, we all got $50 apiece. 1986, folks. That's the way it was.
That's about, $1 million now?
Yeah. I mean, 2 months and 4 grueling nights.
Wow,
love you, Patty, once again. Love all of you stars out there that I've worked with. Hey, how you doing? But, she's a great person. What you see with Patty Loveless is exactly what you get. I mean, she's a down-home girl. She's just right as rain, That's as far as that'll go. My lead guitarist at the time knew more about her than the rest of us. Anyway, really a great person. And she kept in touch with us, believe it or not. Years later, she would always call my wife or me. And my wife had worked on Music Row, various places, ASCAP, CSAC. So she would run into her every once in a while. But she actually, the last time she called us right after we moved here in 2000, and Tony Luna had sold us our house. I'm getting a kickback on that too, folks.
He gets to play in the band.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, but anyway, her husband got sick with a weird disease, and so that's why she dropped out of sight, because she was hitting her biggest peak about that time, and her producer husband got a weird disease. He's actually still alive. But she quit playing music just to take care of him, and a lot of people don't know that. But she is a great person. But that was the biggest. I mean, I did a short thing with Lacey J. Dalton. We played a special deal and had practiced her a while. She's a neat person. I think her hit was Black Coffee, or something like that.
She had one. 16th Avenue is the one I always remember.
16th Avenue, yeah. But I played those songs with her. That's been a while too. I've actually got a cassette tape of me playing with her too, folks. Wow. So that'll be $10.99. Just give me a call.
Again, boys and girls, Google cassette tape. That's right. If you want to get really adventurous, look up 8-track.
That's right.
Terry, you mentioned moving to Smithville back in 2000, and I always love to ask people this: how in the world did you get here?
How'd you find Smithville?
How'd you find Smithville?
Well, it was my wife. Actually, we had lived in Nashville for years. We moved to Kingston Springs for 4 years, which was a strange move. Kingston Springs is like, huh? I mean, people in Nashville call that Brentwood West. Yeah. Okay. We weren't the Brentwood type. But we got to thinking we both loved boating and lakes, and we were going to move to Dale Hollow. But they're just, especially 20 years ago, Livingston, that's about it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot happening around there,
Right.
But no, we really liked Smithville. Of course, we love Center Hill Lake, and we moved here to just sort of get away from everything and, and move. And I have actually told people, sorry, Carolyn, that we moved because of menopause, but I'm not going to mention that this time.
Okay, we won't talk about it.
I'm not going to mention that now.
Radio edit.
Radio edit.
We'll edit that out.
So, how have you stayed involved in music since that time? Has it been something that's still a primary passion in your life?
Yes. I've got an old buddy that's a Berkeley School graduate, a really top-flight musician that we've done a lot of all original jazz, mostly instrumental stuff. But his name's Paul Forsman, and he and I, if I wasn't doing anything else, he would come out to my house occasionally on Saturday night. We stay up all Saturday night and just record weird stuff, and it's some pretty neat stuff. Actually, it's jazz. I need to do something with it. We did like 5 CDs worth of stuff.
Wow.
I'm giving you some of those CDs, Tony. But it's really neat stuff. But I always had that going, and then of course I started actually playing with Tony Luna's daughter, Sadie. We kind of started. She's a very good singer, and we started playing in 2019. Around in there, I kind of started. My wife had passed away, and I was kind of getting back into life and reality, and ran into Tony, who was always our best friend anyway, and we hadn't seen each other in a long time, I think, since my wife had passed away. One thing led to another, and we started hanging out and all that kind of stuff. And a few years back, both of us, we were just kind of talking one day and saying, we know this group of guys, if we could get these guys into band, it would be killer. And that's what we've done with Dramatic Endings, and it's really, really a good band. I'm also playing with another band also. But it's just, it's brought it all back. And really, at 71, I know this sounds strange, but I'm a better drummer now than I've ever been. And I'm seeing myself how age doesn't matter. If you progress, you progress. I mean, there's been, of course, periods like anybody in my life that I'm going, my drumming sucks. I'm in this groove. I can't get out of it. I was with a band for 30 years in Nashville, off and on. I always call my shit-kicking country band. And we were good. We were fun. We just, there was no, we ain't going to make it. Let's just get together and drink beer and have fun. And that's what we did. And it was a great band. But, this is, that didn't progress me a lot. I'll say that like every 2 years, let's do a new song, once every 2 years. And I love you guys. I love you guys. If you're listening, Tim, Frankie, Cliff, I love you.
And the funny thing about dramatic endings, it's just the opposite of that. There's no telling what's going to happen in practice.
Oh, God. And the first time you've been to one of our practices Tom.
Yeah.
But, the first time we ever got together, whatever song, we go, I know this one was in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam. We play the song perfect, end it perfect. We're all looking at each other like we've been hit with boards in the face going, this ain't never happened to me before. In a band, has it? So we said, hey, maybe we should do this.
And I can tell folks from experience, having sung in bands, that never happens. Endings are always a train wreck.
Exactly.
And you typically never play the song the same way twice in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. That's true. That's true.
But this is a special band with some special musicians, and they're great. I love listening to you guys. Got to listen to them this past week. I listened to the band. Poor Tony, he's up there singing, and he's moving around, flailing his arms. I can't hear a thing coming out of his mouth, but the band sounded really good.
we are loud. I will disclaimer: we're loud.
That was some tough acoustics in that room, too, folks.
You had the acoustics working against you for sure. You mentioned jazz, Terry. Is that a particular favorite type of music for you? Do you have a particular type that you prefer to play?
Boy, that's you're right in there, baby. You know the questions I asked, don't you? I was raised, my dad played all the old Artie Shaw, Glenn Miller, all those big bands. I grew up listening to those. I knew those. He was a huge Western Swing Bob Wills fan. Mm-hmm. I was a Beatle freak. So you've got classical jazz, you've got all these other influences. Then, of course, I'm in the actual band in high school, so I'm playing classical music, so I'm learning all this stuff. And, about the only thing, I even like some rap. Yes. But I've got to say, rap and opera, once again, love you guys. But, that's my least favorite to play. I love the heck out of jazz rock fusion. Mm-hmm. Like when Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Chicago hit, I was like in heaven. I'm like, whoa, this is it. But, jazz, rock, I like country. Sometimes I wish I didn't have such a wide scope. Sometimes I wish I could, rein it in, and I do in the bands, but it helps playing with great musicians too. It really does. You can play a song that you hate, like Can't You See, which I've played 45 million times, okay? Don't really like it, but it's a good song, and I will play it with dramatic endings.
Sure,
yes.
Sure. Looking ahead, and I think musicians are always looking ahead. Is there something that you still feel like you've not accomplished that you'd like to?
Now, you're still talking to me about looking ahead, right?
Looking ahead, yeah. Hey, 71's just getting started, right?
Actually, that's interesting. That's why he's doing what he's doing, folks. He knows what to ask, But, that's strange. I've recently, how certain ages in your life affect you. Mm-hmm. Like, for some reason, when I hit 27, I thought, whoa. I'm looking at 30. I'm staring at 30 right in front. So 30 didn't bother me. Then I hit 50. That didn't bother me. 52, I thought, I'm past 50. Mm-hmm. Wow, where am I going from here? Yeah. So I hit 70. This year hit 71. And I don't know, for some reason, it's the time of my life, whatever, I've been thinking about stuff like that. And, for a couple of years now, I've been playing in these two rock bands that are pretty regimented, but I'm not doing the weird jazz or strange progressive rock music that I like. I also write.
Yeah.
I write songs with lyrics, but a lot of stuff I write is instrumental. But actually, that's what I've been thinking about recently. I think I need to actually start incorporating that. I don't know, maybe getting my jazz buddy over every once in a while and doing some original jazz just to clear the cobwebs out,
sure.
And kind of, get back on track. I also like to play acoustic guitar and sing. We've got a thing we do every once in a while here in town that we go over to a buddy's business here and just Just play and sing, and that's great fun.
Picking on the porch.
Picking on the porch.
I need to check that out.
Go.
That's fun. I love that. That's
so
there
fun.
you go. Come on out and join us and do some fancy singing.
First Friday every month.
First Friday, everybody.
I know we're also working on Tony Luna's greatest hits, right?
What we got? 3 songs that we've done now that we have wrote together.
That's awesome.
Yes, actually, we have. We have.
It'll become a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're different. They're different genres.
All
too.
3 are totally different.
Yeah, blues and rock, and
Terry, you've got such a fascinating story. We're going to have you back. So
okay,
we'll get you some coffee, and we'll have you back sometime to talk more.
Can we get one more story from you? I want to hear the Sharon Stone butt bump story.
It's not what you think, folks. Or then again, maybe it is.
It might be.
we had all of our clothes on to begin with. Well, I was working. The Last Dance is a movie that was out. I guess it was probably the late '90s, mid '90s, and production came out of L.A. and I was doing all of my video and movie work, and I got on a movie crew. Swing gang, I like that. It's not what you think. It's, we set furniture up. We don't, take our clothes off or anything. It's a swing gang, but no. So anyway, I'm like laying down this thin carpet down this long hallway in this place in a house in Bellevue, and so I'm at work. It's a movie shoot, but it's boring, right?
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying down this rug, and I'm walking backwards down this long hall, and I actually butt bumped into somebody, and their butt was the exact height as mine. I'm pretty tall.
Yeah.
Like 6'6", something, I don't know. And I look around, and the person looked around at me at the same time, and it was Sharon Stone. Nice. And we were right there at each other. We were, well, I'm sorry. And I'm like, holy moly, she is good looking, But that was a brief encounter that we had there. But, later on, I was on this movie shoot, and my birthday occurred. And I'll be darned if I didn't get a birthday card from Sharon Stone.
Wow.
And I thought, man, she really dug bumping into my butt that day.
You made an impression.
Wow. I'm going to go for some of those buttless jeans. They had those at the time. You could get those and have your cheeks hanging out. And I should have been wearing that day. I mean, they wouldn't have cared on the movie shoot. It's a cool guy, But that was kind of weird. But I thought one of my friends on the movie crew sent it to me, and I was like going around to every one of them going. This one guy, I knew he did. I said, "You did this, didn't you, Bob?" He's going, "No, man, I don't know what you're talking about." And then somebody told me she really used to do that. She'd be on a movie shoot, and she'd find out everybody. I mean, there's 250 people. That was just the Nashville part,
right? Yeah.
On this crew, I mean, it's a whole like circus, you know. And I get this card from it, but I've still got it.
Yeah.
It'll be on eBay in about 2 days, folks. It'll be, I don't know, $15,000. It'll be cheap.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Well, this guy, like I said, he's got such a story and has done so many things. We've just tipped the iceberg today. But,
absolutely.
Terry Coyle's been our guest on the T-Squared podcast presented by Button Willow General Store. Terry, again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tony. It's good being here, y'all.
Good
and
seeing
we'll
you.
see you next time.
We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Button Willow General Store, located in historic downtown Smithville. The best coffee in Middle Tennessee. Go by and see Joe, Angela, and their outstanding staff. Order up one of their amazing drinks and check out the general store while you wait. Lots of unique and locally made products to choose from. Button Willow General Store. Be sure and tell them you heard all about them on the T-Squared podcast.
Hey folks, Tom Duggan from the T-Squared podcast here to tell you about two of my absolute favorite places to eat. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue in Smithville and On the River Grill in Rock Island. Stop by the Pig at 320 West Broad Street, Smithville for the best barbecue you'll find in this area. My buddy Jeff has everything from pulled pork to barbecue nachos and my personal favorite, their amazing loaded barbecue baked potato. Don't forget their tender, juicy, fall-off-the-bone ribs that will have you calling in for seconds before you even finish the first rack. And if you're looking to eat a little healthier, they've got one of the best salad bars you'll find around. If you love the water and good food, you have to check out On the River Grill at Cotton's Marina in Rock Island. Try one of their delicious hand-patted real beef burgers, including everyone's favorite, the Bourbon Bacon Cheeseburger. They also have shrimp, cucumber boats, and plenty of other items, plus beer and plenty of soft drinks. You can even bring your own bottle of wine. The Lipstick Pig Barbecue and On the River Grill, two of my favorites. favorites, and they'll be yours too once you try them. Stop by and tell them Tom from the T Squared Podcast sent you.
Everyone has heard of a boutique, but how about a brotique? The Mailroom Brotique, 102 West Main Street in downtown Smithville, is your go-to shop for all things masculine. The Mailroom prides themselves in offering high-quality and unique apparel, grooming products, and gifts. They also offer custom designs that are unique and cannot be found anywhere else. But what about the ladies? The Mailroom is excited to now offer women's apparel and gifts in addition to their full line of men's products. Visit the Mailroom in historic downtown Smithville or online at themailroomtn.com. We appreciate you shopping local.
Are you ready to supercharge your nutrition and energize your day? Visit Mad Nutrition at 417 East Broad Street in Smithville, your go-to destination for premium protein shakes, protein-packed snacks, and energy teas with essential vitamins. Whether you're powering through a workout or just need a pick-me-up, Mad has got you covered. Swing by Mad Nutrition today and taste the difference quality nutrition can make. Fuel your body, fuel your life. Mad Nutrition, your recipe for success. Call in your order ahead of time or send via text message at 615-684-8586. That's 615-684-8586. Mad Nutrition. Back on the T Squared Podcast, served up by Button Willow General Store. Big thanks to Joe and Angela and all their fine staff. They got the best coffee in Middle Tennessee.
But do they?
That's what the ad
According to my
said.
sign, they don't.
Well, yeah, I love the sign wars. Okay, I got to know, who comes up with that?
It just depends. Sometimes they fire the first shot. Sometimes I fire the first shot.
It's so funny, though. And there's a new one every week, just about.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. And, man, you go in there, and they're busy all the time. I'm not discouraging people because they're busy. They're busy because they're great.
They are great. And you know, and they usually have 3 or 4 or 5 baristas, so they'll get you out pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah, I went in there this morning, matter of fact, to get my sister a frappe. I'd already had my coffee this morning. Didn't want to be bouncing off the walls, but there were several people waiting, and I was in and out of there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, Button Willow, we appreciate them, our title sponsor here on the T Squared Podcast. Let's do something a little different today on our last segment. Things you liked and things you did not like so much from the past week. Now, we're recording Mother's Day weekend. I'm not sure when exactly the podcast will be released soon. We're still hammering out the website, slackerbilly.com is where you're going to be able to go to find our podcast. We're going to have blogs and an entertainment page and some other things. Very excited about this. And that's going to be coming soon, but we're going to get these podcasts out. Start talking a little bit more about that. Where was I going there? All of a sudden, I just drove off. I hit a squirrel, and things you liked and things you didn't like from the past week. Some things you did like.
I'm actually going to do it in reverse.
Okay.
What I didn't like was the storms. I really, I worry about the storms, worry about the people and stuff like that. But the things I like was tied into that is if you drove down 56 and saw a tornado, did you see the community come out and help Miss Paula in that bunch?
Yes.
I even had some friends pick up her clothes, take them, wash them, bring them back to her.
Wow.
So, these are small towns, guys. They when stuff like that happens, it just thrills me to see the community come out for stuff like that.
You can get on Facebook and people are sniping at each other, just sort of getting at it. But it's just always inevitably when there's something tragic that happens in a small town, and I think Smithville's a great example of that. People can put aside their differences and come together to help one another, even if it's somebody you don't even know. It's just, I love that unity.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, it's small town. That's just the best way to describe it. That's just part of living in a small town. It's
just the beauty of it to just see that unification. And it has been, as we mentioned at the onset of the show, a bit of a messy week weather-wise. And I think I saw a post on Facebook, one of the weather pages I follow, that it had been 100 and something days since there'd been any kind of storm warning. And, man, we had more than our share of them this past week.
We sure did.
Anything else that sticks out that you really liked about this week other than shrimp tacos? And that really sounds good, by the way.
It does. And it's almost lunchtime. So
yeah, no doubt about it. But anything that maybe that you can think of that is just really, even if it's on a national level or something.
Yeah. Well, it being Mother's Day, I always reflect. I'm a adopted kid. I was 7 when I was adopted. So, this week is always special to me because, my mom and dad, they didn't have to do that. That was something they volunteered for. And if you get us 3 brothers together, you wouldn't know that because of the way we was raised, you wouldn't know that we weren't true brothers.
Right.
So that's always something that I've always loved. This time of year and Father's Day, I would always reflect on that during those holidays.
Mother's Day, my mother, above anyone I've ever seen, probably loves Mother's Day better than any holiday. In fact, I was informed yesterday, it's not Mother's Day, it's Mother's Day weekend, okay? So as soon as we're done with the podcast, we're actually, my sister and brother-in-law, we're all taking Mom wherever she wants to go, and I have no idea. I'm already tired thinking about this, but so grateful I still have my mom. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, and she's really struggled with that because they were together 46 years before he passed away. And
you never hear that much anymore.
No, you really don't. And I know she struggled with that, and she's had some health issues of her own since that point in time. But you talk about a trooper and somebody that's just always laughing and cutting up, even when she's not feeling her best. And she's been through hip replacement, knee replacement surgery. She's on kidney dialysis. She battled a severe case of double pneumonia. She has gone through so much in the last couple of years, but just always has a smile on her face, loves life, loves people. Mother's Day weekend, though, I got to get mentally and prepared for that. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know people out there who have lost their moms, their dads, in some cases one or the other, in some cases both. And, losing my dad has left a big void. Tony, I just can't imagine not having both parents. I know that's got to be hard.
Yeah. I lost my dad about 15 years ago, and my dad was a big influence on me. You could probably tell in some of the past podcasts and just the way I live my life. He just my work ethic was definitely from my father.
Yeah.
But my mom is still around. She's doing, health-wise, she's doing really good. And we're excited. I don't see her. It's sad that she lives in Sparta, but I don't get to see her enough.
Yeah.
So, that's my fault for sure. But, this weekend, my brother is off work. My oldest brother, he's retired. So we're all going to get together. We don't do it enough, but we're going to get to do it Sunday. And we're excited about that. Yeah.
Speaking of get together, I got a chance to catch up with some old friends last weekend. And some guys that I grew up with have been good friends for a long time, have moved out of state, and don't get to see them quite as often. 3 of them actually came in all last weekend, and didn't get to see one, unfortunately, but got to hang out with, I'm going to go ahead and call him by name, Andy Burklow, is a young man. Well, he's not young anymore. He's older than me. But we grew up together down around Dowelltown, and he came to church Sunday, and we talked for a while after church and went out to eat. And it just, you don't realize just how special it is, the moments of catching up with somebody until you actually do it. We're always busy, Tony, and I know you know this as well as I do. We're always putting things off. I'm the world's worst about putting things off. But when you finally make yourself, and I hate to say make myself, but, put that time aside to get together with an old friend or a family member, man, it's just, I wouldn't take anything for those moments.
Yeah. What I like about it, especially your real good friends, you may not have seen them in 2 or 3 years, but you pick up immediately where you left off.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And that's your true friends when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, we pick at each other, laugh about things, but, then catch up. He moved to Iowa about 7 years ago, and I have no clue why anybody would move to Iowa.
Maybe he likes corn.
He's allergic to corn.
No, he didn't move to Iowa for corn.
He did. Why do you move to Iowa? But he's an electrician, and he's found a good job up there, so that's the main reason he moved there and got married and all that good stuff. But just so much fun to catch up. Another friend I caught up with, and Darvin Gill.
Oh, yeah.
Darvin's been coaching basketball for several years now. And Darvin actually was, I think, the lead assistant at Montverde Academy in Florida. The #1 girls prep program in the country.
Wow.
They won the national championship this year in girls high school basketball.
Wow.
And Darvin's got this ring. It'd make Elvis envious how big that thing is. But Darvin, he's really, he had no basketball background. He played football. He was around baseball a lot. But he had this passion for basketball, and he has spent 20-plus years probably now working at it, was a successful head basketball coach at Ray County, coach of the year a couple of times, won a district or two, I think, while he was there, and now he's gone on to bigger and better things, but got a chance to catch up with him, and always enjoy talking to him. But, man, that kind of success to be in a program, a lot of folks around our neighborhood would know Darvin, but they may not know that. The success he's had
I didn't know
phenomenal.
that, yeah. And I've known both the Gill boys for years, and I didn't realize that about it. I've just kind of lost touch with Darvin. Still know Daryl, see Daryl a lot still, but, wow, that's impressive.
That's great, and good to catch up with those guys. Tim Coyle, another guy, I didn't get a chance. I talked to him on the phone, but did get to see him. His dad had a birthday this weekend, and Tim and I played a lot of music together over the years, and
fine guitar player.
Yeah, absolutely. Is played with some well-known people, kind of like Terry. He's Tim has worked with some well-known musicians and singers over the years, and still picking around. He moved down to the beach. Yeah. Lucky fella, you know.
he kept saying he was going to, and I didn't believe him, but he did.
Yeah, he
proved me wrong.
Yeah, he moved down there, and I'd hear people say, "Well, he'll be back in 6 months. He'll be back in 6 months." I think that's been about 8 years or something. Yeah. So he proved everybody wrong, and he's pursuing his dream, playing music and living on the beach. You can't beat that kind of life.
Can't beat that. I'm so jealous. I don't like him anymore.
So, we were talking earlier about weight loss. You and I both have been kind of watching, except you eating shrimp tacos. I'm so jealous. But
cheat day.
Yeah, cheat day. But you and I both been kind of on a weight loss journey, and I've run across some people that are doing the same thing. And this is kind of that time of year the weather warms up and everybody's like, I want to get in a little bit better shape. But what's kind of been your motivation for it?
What's funny is, playing music with these guys, we had a gig at my house in October last year, and somebody sent us some pictures, and I thought, who is that fat guy sitting up there playing harmonica? I thought, it can't be me. So Christmas Day, I was at 250, heaviest I've ever been. Now I'm 6'3", so I carry it pretty good, but I still look fat. And so I said, okay, New Year's Day, I'm going to get serious about this stuff. Yeah. And I did. Started working out a little bit. Within summer, got me the VR glasses, the headset, the Meta. Yeah. And Supernatural app, so I work out at home now. Well, now I'm addicted. I'm at least 4 days a week. That's down great. 30 pounds. Yeah. Feel stronger, feel better than I felt since I was in my 20s for sure. Yeah. But you too. I could tell you're bulking up on me here.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me. So for years, honestly, I've just had trouble maintaining energy. Just no energy. And I'd lost weight back about 10 years ago. I lost close to 100 pounds.
Well, that's when I was working at the community center. Yeah. We was working out and walking and hiking and biking and you name it. All the time.
All the time. But even then, there were times I had no energy and kept going to the doctor. What's wrong? Well, diagnosed low testosterone was one problem. So did shots for a while. After a while, those shots become unhealthy for you, but still was battling the low testosterone. So, just continued, and thanks to COVID and, just kind of not being able to get out, I quit going to the gym, just sort of got lazy and got fat again, gained all my weight back. In fact, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to the weight in just a moment. But along about September, I thought it's time for a checkup, and I just had not been feeling well at all. So called the doctor, scheduled an appointment, went. Come to find out, I'm diabetic. So numbers weren't terrible, off the chart. A1C was a little bit high. Triglycerides were crazy off the charts bad. So doctor, lose some weight, take some weight off. We're not going to put you on medication just now. I think you can get it under control for the most part if you just diet and exercise. Watch what you eat, which I've always watched what I eat. Just I watch it on the way into my mouth. So September to December, I half-heartedly dieted. Okay, so at that point, and I've always been self-conscious about my weight, but I was in the 280s, and as heavy as I'd ever been. So I had a trip to the beach scheduled for right after Christmas, and was planning on going, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I'm just not going to go. I got a refund, decided I'm not going to go. And the best decision I ever made, because on December 29th, I went to a weight loss clinic, because I'd been hearing about this Ozempic. And this particular clinic, I couldn't get Ozempic covered because at the time I had no insurance. So I went to this clinic, and I thought, I've been doing pretty good. I'm probably down 20, 30 pounds. I weighed 291.4.
Wow.
Not only had I not lost weight, I had gained more weight, and the heaviest I'd ever been in my life, and I was just about brokenhearted.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they talked to me about the shots. Semaglutide, or however you say it, I think is one of the main ingredients in Ozempic, and that's what the clinic offers. So, got a shot. They say, hey, try this out. It's supposed to curb your appetite. That's my biggest thing. Is sometimes, especially at night, I'm laying around, I'm bored, and I'm eating. But all of a sudden, I'm feeling like I'm not eating enough because, you know, I'm like, man, it's lunch, but I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
So in conjunction with that, I've been going to Gym Bombs, a local gym here in Smithville, half-heartedly. I'll go back to that again. But as of December 29th, 2023, when I got that diagnosis or not the diagnosis, but started taking the shots, I got serious about going to the gym. And this, just a few days ago, April 29th, I was officially down 50 pounds.
Good for you.
And just going to the gym religiously, watching what I eat. I got to give the shots a lot of credit. They've been great to curb my appetite. No real after effects, and my energy has been awesome.
Good.
And it led me to wonder, was maybe I battling some kind of diabetic condition all this time? Neither of my parents ever had it, but now diabetes has been on both sides of my family. I had a grandmother that had it, so it's there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I maybe just a misdiagnosis or just a not a diagnosis of it along the way, but it's made a big difference, and I still would like to lose some more weight, but, you know, I'm transitioning my body, and I feel great.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you'll get to the point when you're working out, especially how you work out. I've seen you work out before, that you'll get where you don't lose weight, but you're losing the fat and gaining the muscle.
Yeah.
So you'll look thinner, but you'll look bigger.
Right.
You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. People kind of pick at me because, you know, I still wear some of my bigger clothes, and they're like, you know, why don't you get something that fits? I'm like, because they're comfortable now. You know, I don't have my belly just, you know, bulging out of a 2X shirt, you know, but in all honesty, it's... Now,
I could hook you up with some shirts next door if you, decide you can.
I'm going to have... You know, it's funny because after losing all the weight years ago and then gaining it back, I almost sold all my clothes, and I made a determination, no, I'm going to get back into these. So I've got a huge tote full of clothes that are so out of date and out of style. I'm going to have to get rid of them anyway.
Well, if you hold on to them, they'll come back.
Yeah,
about every 20 years.
About every 20 years, you're right. So, but, you know, we say all that. I like to encourage people out there. You can do it. And I know losing weight is not easy. It's not fun. Eating is fun. You know, good food, we all love it. But if you're feeling bad health-wise, if you don't like the way you look in the mirror, I've never liked the way I look in the mirror, even when I had lost weight. But
I've never liked how you looked in the mirror neither.
Thank you. I knew it was contagious, but you can do it, and there are people out there that will encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
But take it a day at a time. Take it a step at a time. I always thought I could lose it all in a week, and you can't do it.
No.
Just can't do
One thing about myself, and I think a lot of people about that, is sometimes I'll get up in the morning and say, I just really don't want to do this today. But then I say, okay, I'm going to make myself do it. 10 minutes into it, I'm like, man, I'm glad I did
Yes.
this. It's just definitely a mood change.
Yep. I got up, for some reason, I'm getting up earlier and earlier every day. Maybe a sign of age. But one morning this week, I got up well before time to go to work. And I thought, I could go walk. Nah, I don't want to go walk. And it stuck in my head. Get up, get dressed, go walk. Even just walk a mile. And ended up getting up. I walked about 2 miles, went around my neighborhood. Felt great. Made the whole day so much better.
Yeah.
Just little things like that to start off with. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference.
It absolutely does. And I hope everybody does it. And if you need motivation, feel free to reach out to me or Tom. We'll try to motivate you.
Absolutely.
I've got a stun gun.
Taser.
Got a taser. No.
Yeah. We'll eat the pizza for you, so you won't have to take in all of those calories. Big thanks to our guest today, Terry Coyle. And we got to have Terry back. We've said that about every guest we've had so far on our young podcast.
We have had some fun conversations.
We have had some great ones, and we've got more to come, certainly here on the Slackerbilly Podcast Network. Want to thank Button Willow and all of our sponsors for being part of today's podcast. Tony, let's do it again soon.
Sounds good.
Tony Luna, I'm Tom Duggan for the T Squared Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.